Good evening, my friends and followers. I recently did a book review on the book Talent is Overrated. And as you can see, I've got a lot of flags in there. Um, I've been kicking around this idea of what to do to provide some additional content aside from just the book reviews. And so tonight I'm just kind of spitballing this. Um, one of the important things about reading is allowing yourself time to process and think about that. Um, which is why I flag stuff. It's why I underline things as I'm trying to do this from this side here. Because when I pick up this book, when I'm done reading it and I go through it, or when I pick it up in 5 years from now and reread it, those notes, those underlines, those things are there. And for me, it allows me to kind of re-jog that memory of what's in there, and kind of reconnect with some of my thoughts and ideas. Sometimes I'll write notes in the margin. I honestly don't. I haven't even looked at this yet. I don't even know if there's any in this book, for example. It doesn't look like I have any notes in the margin on this one, but sometimes I'll put a note in the margin, and I'll make some comment. Hold on a second. I think I have some in the slide edge here. This is the book I'm currently reading right now, or one of the two I'm currently reading right now. But I'll make notes. I'll cross out things that I disagree with, that I think are incorrect. Because what you're doing is you're creating your own study guide from this book. You're developing your own thoughts and mindsets, and and I really thought I had some notes in this. Hold on a second. Let me grab this other book real quick. Okay. So this is how I raise myself from failure to success. Here I've got something written in the margin. And here Frank Petra is talking about he's at this conference or this event, and one of the top leaders in sales comes up to him, a Mr. Hunsicker, and he gives him some advice. And my note here says seminars to majors. One of the things that I've noticed in my own business experience is that one of the key things is attending events. And part of it's the networking. Part of it is the relationship building, getting around the people that are top leaders in your company or your organization that you're in. And part of it is getting around others in other groups, organizations. But going back to this, when you read a book like this, or the Slide Edge, or How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success, what it does is you've got to study it, and you've got to develop a pattern that works for you. Everyone's going to be different. Some people have similarities. For example, one of my brothers, he and I actually have a similar style for marking things. For example, we both underline passages, but if it's a whole paragraph, we'll just star the paragraph. We'll just put a star there beside it. Making notes making notes beside a passage like I did in How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success. And it's the studying of a book and the material that allows you to go back and reference it again and be able to use it. Like up here, you see these other books that I've read back here, this small section, and you can pull one of them off the shelf, like this one here, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and you can flip through it, and in it, you'll find sections that I've underlined, things that stood out to me when I read it this last time. Okay. And I don't know if I have any side notes. Like I said, I'm just going off the cuff. And what it allows you to do though is to go back and reference those. Sometimes I'll note another book. Sometimes I'll get out the book and go right to the page and put that book and page reference in there. It just depends on how fine the point is. Excuse me. It just depends on how you as an individual can pick up things from those books and cross-reference or underline, highlight. Some people like to use different colored pencils every time they go through it, or different colored pens when they go through it. That way they can look in the front and say, oh, I read this in 97. Okay, maybe that's a bad example because that's like a long time ago for some people. But maybe they read it last year, and so that last year's color was red. Everything done, in 2022 is red, and then let's say everything this year's done in blue. And then it's going to be black the year after that. So it just depends on what you're doing. Some people prefer a highlighter to go ahead and mark passages in a book. They like to see that page lit up. I've definitely have done some of that myself. And like I said, you've got to really personalize it. I don't think I have it up here on this, so. Oh, maybe I do. Nope. Okay, there's a really good book out by a guy named Chris Brady, and it's called Turn the Page. And it's basically his guide to reading a book like this, a self-development book, a personal growth book, whatever you want to call it. And he just goes through kind of his ideas and concepts on how to do that. If you're having trouble finding the book, let me know. I think it's on Amazon, but I'll be honest, it's been a while since I ordered the 2 or 3 copies that I picked up when I ordered them. Just really telling you, like, I'm so prepared today. You know what? I got a copy of it right here. Excuse me there. Okay, this is what the book looks like. It's called Turn the Page. Here's the ISBN number. Sorry, I'm doing this kind of wonky. You guys can see that. And like I said, I don't know where I got it off of. It's not a very long book. It's only like 120 pages or something. But it just goes through like how to read. And excuse me, one of the things that Chris does is he likes to outline stuff. And he recommends that you read multiple books at a time. And one of the things is he says he gets bored with an author, and so he likes to kind of mix it up. I recommend that if you're going to read more than one book at a time, then you probably pick multiple formats also. For example, I've got a book on Kindle, I've got a book on Audible, I've got 2 paperbacks, Slide Edge and How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success. I'm reading those at this right now simultaneously. meaning, I read one in the morning and then one in the afternoon or in the evening before bed. Um, because one book is my book that I'm reading, okay, that I picked, and the other book is from our management team, and the book that they have selected for us to study this month. And I gotta tell you what, um, well, you guys have seen my reading pace. It can be kind of crazy. My business partner Bill likes to talk about it because, see me, I can really pack in some books sometimes. And for me, that's that's really kind of my appetite for study, for learning. Um, because I know that the more knowledge I can put in there, the more cross references I'll make, the more things I'll pick up when multiple authors talk about it. Um, okay, it's just part of my character. Bill's not as big of a reader. I hope he doesn't get mad at me. He doesn't read nearly as many books as I do, but that's his personality. That's his thing. Um, I love that he's read as many books as he has, and that he's carrying his book with him. I think that's one real big indicator for a person who's not a reader when they start carrying their book with them and having it. Whether that means you've got a Kindle book on your phone, or you carry a Kindle with you, or um, you're plugged into to Audible. My buddy was teasing me because I yawn so much. So James, that's for you. So I just want you to, I guess kind of the point of this video is to encourage you to when you read, to don't be afraid to write in your book, because what you're actually doing is adding value to it, because you're highlighting sections that are important to you, things that stand out, principles that maybe you need to work on. There's all these different parts that come out. And when you loan it to your kids or to a friend, um, they get to take advantage of that. There was a leader, and he was talking about he likes to buy old leadership books because he gets additional knowledge because of the person that had it before and the comments, that the things that they wrote into it. So every time I do this at night, right? So what I want you guys to understand is it's I believe it's very important to read. One of the things I have on all my videos is that pick up a book. It's how you install new software. And really, I do believe that. I do believe that we change and grow when we write, when we read a book, we write in it. And you might think like, well, you're only talking about leadership books. You're right. You're right. Because those are the ones I really only write in. Novels, blow through those, put it aside, get the good story, get the story out of it, enjoy it. Um, I find for me, it's necessary to read um, some novels in with the other stuff I'm doing. Otherwise, it gets too heavy for me. It gets to be where it just weighs on me and I get too serious, and I've got to have a change. I've got to have a break in that process. Um, and then I might get into a novel and I can't stand it. I've got a biography. I've got a biography and two novels. So I got 3 books on the Audible right now. They're just kind of sitting there because I got into them and I'm like, oh, this is painful. Like this other book that this guy wrote was good, but this one is, whoa. And I got to admit, one of the biographies is massive, and it's a massive amount of information about this individual. Um, so yeah, I still have like 40 hours or something ridiculous to go. But man, if it's a if the biography, or if I was more interested in that person's life, be much more easier for me to read. Ben Franklin, I've done the audiobook on him. I've done the physical book on him. I've read the physical book for him. So, John Adams. I did the movie, the audiobook. My son just got for me here for my birthday. He got me this. So a nice used copy that I'm really looking forward to get into. But again, that's a back burner one because I've already read it twice. Although John Adams' life is pretty amazing. So what else can I bug you with? So I'll throw this one other thing at you guys. Got a couple friends and you guys like to read similar books. I'd recommend you get a book study and take turns recommending the book. My brothers and I actually started one close to 2 years ago, maybe it's a little bit longer. I don't really know. But we started a book study because we're into the nerdy history stuff together. And so we've read the Constitution together and the Bill of Rights. We've read the 5,000-Year Leap, which I highly recommend. It's a concise history of the founding of America and the influences that went into creating our country. Or if you're not an American citizen, the Americas. We read 1913 by Oliver DeMille, and really fun, kind of funny because the book we started with was a novel, and it rolled into, hey, let's do other books and other material, and that's what we ended up doing is getting into that stuff. So Ben Franklin had a group he called the Junto Club, and they did books. They wrote essays and critiqued each other. They did oration. They did a couple different things together as a group on a weekly basis. And so for the time being, I'd highly recommend you doing that with some of your friends. I'm putting together some stuff. I'd like to start a book group by the end of the year. But that is going to be limited numbers. And I just am not sure where that's going to fall into yet. I've got some things that I have to put together to make that all, to get that all to work. So read, pick up a book. And if you're having trouble with leadership books, man, just read 1 page a day. Just read 1 page a day. Get a razor, cut out pages, put them in your pocket, buy them on Kindle so that way you can read them on the can. I highly recommend the physical books. It can be more difficult for some of us, but what you saw right here is that these books are right on my desk. They're right here. The book I'm reading with my brothers, it's on the bottom, but it's right here on my desk. They're all 3 of them sitting here where I can read them. As you can tell, I've got other books on hand for quick reference if I want to get into them. And I've got more books on this shelf. I've got more books on this shelf, and I've got a whole 2 feet over here of books that are to be read. But what I want you to understand is that reading is one of the things that ups your game. And I can't tell you guys, I can't express in the right words how huge this can be for you guys. Or gals. I'm a guy's person. I've been using it a long time. So just whatever you're doing, just Just pick up a book. Just pick up a leadership book. Pick up a biography about somebody. Um, John Adams, uh, Booker T. Washington, Harriet Tubman. Those are all ones I've read. There's so many great biographies out there that you could pick from if you want to learn about a person's life. And here's the beautiful thing about a book. See, this book was written, and then 10 years later, they made some changes and additions, as it says, revised and updated right up here, right up wherever that's at, right up there. Okay. And so not only do you get Jeff Colvin's perspective on why talent is overrated, you then get updated content because this is the version that's available. Maybe, maybe you're not able to get, you're only going to give it one kind. Fine. Just get the book that you can. One of the things I tell my friends is if you've got books on your shelf and one of them calls to you, then that's probably the next book you need to pick up. There's one right now. There's actually two right now looking at me like, hey, when are you going to pick me up? And I'm not sure which one I'll do next, but yeah. One's special forces and one is marriage. So probably the marriage one. Because I know I've got another book coming to you from my leadership group come the end of this month. So, okay. If you are having trouble picking a book, go to turningleafs.com, leafs.com, and on the main page, there's a link up at the top, and it's book list. And you hit that, it'll give you all the books I've read that I recommend. If you want to go to the top 10, there's 15. Hold on a second. I'll look because it's right here. So there's top 10, and then there's another 16 books. So there's 26 books up there that I recommend. Those are my, as you can tell, like top 16, or top 26, yeah, I did an honorable mentions because they're pretty influential books. And man, I read some of them more than once. So yeah, absolutely. I would recommend that you go ahead and pick up a book. And if you can just read one page a day, start there. And then when you've got that, go to 2 pages a day. Because what you're going to do is what I've been practicing but didn't realize is you're going to be putting the slight edge into effect for you. And it's basically the slight edge compound effect. There's another book too, and I cannot think of the name of it right now. But it's all that concept of a little bit of work, a little bit of work, a little bit of work over time accumulates. Slight edge, what's his name? Jeff Olson, he talks about a chessboard. And if you double if you start with a penny on square one and you double it all the way through, what do you get? Well, you get like 10 million bucks at the end of it, right? In 32 days or something. But here's the other part of that. When you read a little bit every day, maybe that's just a 0.01% increase. Okay, well, day 2, it's now 0.02, 0.03, 0.04. And so eventually, over the course of a year, you make a big difference. And basically, the slight edge, talent is overrated, even touches this. The compound effect, it's all about just stacking those daily wins. Had surgery last year on my shoulder. I'm just now to a point where I'm doing a modified push-up. I don't want to do weights. I don't want to mess it up too bad. I want to take it easy. And so I'm doing a modified push-up. I'm doing 16 to 26 or 36 a day, depending on kind of what's going on, how things are feeling. I usually do about 16 in the morning. This is week 2. So next week I'll add one more at 17, see how that goes. Building slowly up over time, because one, again, I don't want to mess up that shoulder. I don't want to mess that up since I've had surgery on it. And 2, I want to rehabilitate it, but I don't want to go fast because I want to make sure that I get full functionality, full ability and movement. I want it to continue to heal properly and be functional. So I've just kind of rambled on, but I recommend you pick up a book and read it. Have a pen with you. I have a pen right here on my desk. I have a Dr. Grip. I like that big fatty grip. But here's the other part of that too. Okay. Here's the other part of that. I use the Pilot G2 inserts because I like the way that ink works. Get the pen that works for you. Get the highlighter that works for you. Drop the comment below. Tell me what you do. Pen, highlighter, pencil. You just started reading your first book. What is it? What's your favorite book? Throw that in there too. Share. I'm gonna get out of here. I just want you guys to know that I believe that you can make massive changes in your life one day at a time. And that's every winner's story, is the continual wins one day at a time. A little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. All right, my friends, followers, and fellow book lovers, I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you go out and make it a great week. And I look forward to talking to you guys again. We'll see about doing this soon.